Hi, my name is Marshall, and this is Waveform. If the Night King spoke, what would he sound like? As a sound designer, I have to say I'm extremely upset that the Night King never spoke in Game of Thrones, and frankly, that's the only bad thing I can think of about Season 8. Yeah, for the most part, other than that, I think it was a flawless season. Perfect season. So today I think we should pretend we're the sound designers on Game of Thrones, rewind the clock back a couple of years, and imagine we just got an assignment to design the Night King's voice. First, it's important to list out what we already know about the Night King and the language that he speaks to form a good starting point. The language spoken by White Walkers is called Scroth, and while we don't know much about the language, there are three big reference points floating around out there. The first is a description in the prologue of the first book that says that Scroth sounds like the cracking of ice on a winter lake. The second major reference point is a screech that this White Walker makes at the end of the second season. To be honest with you, that clip doesn't really fit the George R.R. Martin description for me. I think it's safe to say that this is not Scroth, but instead just a shriek or a war cry. And the third reference point is a clip that the language creator for Game of Thrones, David Peterson, has actually recorded of himself of what he thought the White Walker language might sound like. Take a listen. I think between that and the book's description, we have enough to go on to start making creative decisions here. So, all right, let's hop into our audio program of choice, get some ice sounds, throw them in.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch!
I know you've been watching Waveform for a while, so I know you know why we can't just dive in yet. When it comes to organic sounds like this, and especially character voices, the important work happens outside the computer in your good old-fashioned brain. Before we start arranging audio and adding effects, we need to think deeply about what biologically and emotionally is happening with this character. For example, the Night King's skin isn't exactly human skin anymore, and I would imagine it's pretty dry and crackly, so when we go to add detail to the voice, we should definitely layer in some crackling ice in there as he moves his mouth. This also fits the book description pretty well. Also, because he commands an army and is the life force of thousands of dead, I want to layer in many multiples of my own voice together, each with a slightly different timbre, to give the sense that many people are talking at once. You can hear this kind of effect used in music as well by people like Kendrick Lamar. Another thing that stuck out to me was the Night King's significance as it relates to Bran. We as the viewer at this point already know that Bran can see things before they happen, and I think it could be cool to add reverse reverb and echo to the Night King's voice to give the sense that there's an inevitability to his actions, and we get a small sense of what he's going to say before he actually says it. If you've never heard reverse reverb before, it sounds like this. I'll show you an easy way to make it later. Alright, first we gotta record some words. I figured I'd be able to quickly perform some fake words in the style of the David Peterson clip, and that would be the easiest part of this whole design. But no, it took me about 100 takes just to get this stupid clip. Clearly I'm not qualified to do the acting portion of this, but, what are you gonna do? Anyway, so the first thing I did was pitch my voice down a bit and beef up the low end to get it to sound less like me and more like a powerful evil dude. Then I recorded myself saying the same line a bunch more times in different ways, and panned them all around to create a crazy stereo feel to the sound. This is what those layers sounded like. Now I'm going to apply all the reverse reverb and echo. This effect is pretty straightforward. First, you reverse all the dialogue you're working with. Then you apply an echo and a reverb effect, render out the audio, and reverse the track again. The effect you achieve is a sort of leading in sound, where the tail actually slowly builds into the sound instead of playing after, like a normal reverb would. I ran all of our dialogue through this process and ended up with this layer. Next, I made a looping ice cracking sound, and gave it a rhythm with its volume to match the cadence of the dialogue. I took out all the low frequencies from this layer so they didn't clash with the bass and the vocal design. If you listen closely, you can kind of hear the rhythm of the speech in this layer, which is exactly what we want. Finally, I put all those layers back on top of each other and glued it all together with compression. Here's what our final Night King sounds like. The voice acting needs serious work, but you get the idea. That's what I would probably do if I was asked to make a design for the Night King's voice. This week, I'm setting another waveform challenge, and I encourage you to give it a shot, especially if you've never done sound design before. There are a ton of ways to create voices for characters, especially not quite human creatures like the Night King. So I want you to find an image online of a creature that you think would have an interesting voice, and design some speech for it. Tweet me a video or an audio clip of your final design. Before I leave you guys today, I want to chat about YouTube and the future of Waveform a little bit. Let's be honest, it's a very busy month if I get to post more than one episode of Waveform on my channel here. I try my best to research, design, write, record, edit, and post in a timely manner, but it's not always possible sometimes given my busy work schedule. And the last thing that I want to do is produce lower quality videos to get them out faster. I don't think anyone who watches Waveform regularly would want that. But there's another element at play here on the channel besides my content and you, the viewer, and that's YouTube's algorithm that determines what videos are in your recommended bar and your homepage. YouTube's algorithm wants one thing, and that's to maximize the time that you watch YouTube videos. That means that in general, the algorithm looks at a channel like mine and says, he's only got a couple of hours of content uploaded, he uploads inconsistently, and his videos aren't that long. Therefore, it's much less lucrative for YouTube if someone becomes a new fan of Waveform than it is for someone who becomes a new fan of another channel that uploads weekly or even daily videos of similar content. So if you haven't already seen it, Veritasium has a new video up on this phenomenon called "My Video Went Viral, Here's Why," and he explains this a lot better than I can. But basically this is all a roundabout way of me saying that if you like the content, please consider subscribing. And if you already are subscribed, and you'd also be confident saying that you want to see every video I upload, then I encourage you to consider turning on the notification bell below the video. It's really the only way that a small education channel like mine can actually reliably reach an audience. I try not to be an annoying typical YouTube channel with the classic like and subscribe stuff at the end of the video, so apologies for finally asking to ring the bell. I promise I won't put this at the end of every video now. But the YouTube algorithm will probably never like us here on Waveform, so word of mouth and you guys sharing the content with friends online is how I'd rather grow this channel anyway. So thanks for sticking around. If you have any ideas of sounds you want to see on Waveform, leave them in the comments below. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.